afternoon, everyone. This is Nitha Ramachandra from the NR Hour Sports Show. This is episode 1038. We are live on iHeartRadio, Spotify, on all the podcast platforms. So fans, please tune in. Everybody knows about the Speaker app already. So fans, you can ask questions to our guest today on the Speaker app. On today's guest, we have former NFL offensive tackle. He won the Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He played with a whole bunch of teams. He went to Texas for college. Tony Hills is joining the show today. Thank you, Tony, for coming on the show today. And fans, like I said, ask questions. We'll always love fan interactions on the show. And Tony, thank you for joining the show. Super Bowl champion, like I said, from the Steelers, and he's doing big things after his NFL career in the community. Thank you, and how are you and your family doing today?
Oh, man. Well, first and foremost, man, I appreciate you for having me. The family is great. Everybody is happy, healthy for the most part. It's a sniffle season. but no, everything's good. Business is good. Family's good, so I'm blessed for sure.
Yeah, so I want to start off with tell our fans, how did you get into the game of football growing up, and who would you say that you looked up to as a role model?
So who I looked up to as a role model would be my mom. That's very simple. Hardworking woman, never made excuses. It's the whole proverb of if life hands you lemons, you make lemonade. That would be her, right? And it's the irony of that is her last name is Lemon, so I'll go there. But anyways, so that would be my role model. But what I would say is how I got into the game of football, man, it's in our blood. My dad instilled that in us at an early age. And you just kind of fell into the game and loved it, man. Just the competitive nature, being able to have your will versus somebody else's and seeing whose is going to triumph. All of the lessons that you learn from the game, being an overcomer, working with your team, everybody putting everything aside for one common goal. That's the type of thing that I thrive on and what I learned from the game in which, I use in life right now and in business.
Yeah. So speaking of being the blood, being football in your blood, and what's that one big advice that your father gave you throughout your career and as a young kid growing up and working on your craft as a football player? What's that one big advice that your father gave you to help you get to where you're at right now?
Well, unfortunately, my father wasn't around when I was a child. So I would say but the advice that I got, that I held on to from my mother was, you only lose if you quit. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why something that simple has stuck with me for almost 40 years, but I feel like if you look at my professional journey, my collegiate journey, my high school journey, that's the thing that you're going to see perseverance. And I believe that's what she was showing me. Like there are no losses, right? We only learn from failure. And I believe that fail is another attempt in learning. You know what I mean? So like it's the first attempt in learning, FAIL, the first attempt in learning is what fail is. And so like, as long as you continue to persevere, continue to move forward and never quit, you're going to win eventually. I truly do believe that.
Yeah, so I got to get to your position, Flab, because before you changed the offense to tackle, you were a tight end back in the day. So tell our fans about that process. You were an all-state tight end. You were a heck of a tight end, I heard, and back in the day. And what was that like, being a tight end and obviously changing to position? Did you ever think maybe staying at tight end could have been a possibility?
So I'll start at the first part of the question. So playing a tight end came naturally because I was a basketball player first. What a lot of people don't know in my background is I actually went overseas and played in Spain for the Junior Olympics in basketball. So like, the tight end position is the same thing. You're out rebounding your opponent, right? So that transition was pretty smooth for me. But I got hurt, just like everybody else. And what happened was when I got to the University of Texas, I could have been a dang good tight end. I could be a great tackle. Mm-hmm. And for me, I wanted to play because with the game of football, I had always changed positions. I started out as a defensive tackle, then I moved to defensive end, then I moved to tight end. So it was never like a position to where I grew up through the ranks only doing one thing. I always was doing multiple things. And that will bode well for me in my career, because in that position, not only did I play left tackle, but I played from the left side of the line all the way to the right. So guard, center, guard, tackle, right? And that's really how the longevity happened, because I was able to create value. So yeah, tight end was great. I definitely thought that I would still be a tight end, but when it was pitched to me like, hey, you could be a good tight end or we could be a great tackle, I was like, man, let's make it happen. Let's make the move happen.
Wow. And who would you say who would you say the biggest influence that helped you out to making that move?
Jonathan Scott, collegiately. Yeah, that's my big bro. Because when I first made the move, like I didn't know anything about it. So, you know, with him being an offensive lineman his whole career, his whole life, you know, and we have similar body styles. He's about 2 inches, you know, taller than me. Now he probably got me by like 80 pounds. I've lost a lot of weight since then. But he was a natural left tackle, athleticism, basketball player, same body type. So to be able to watch him, learn from him, you know, understand how to quarter set, how to jump set, how to kick slide, you know, where to put your hands, position and placement, you know, pad level, you know, getting your head, getting your helmet across the numbers on zone plays, and all of these different things, looking at safeties, linebackers, all of those things, you know, he was a monumental key component in my development at that position for sure.
Wow. Yeah, so we are live with former NFL offensive guard and former offensive tackle and Super Bowl champion Tony Hills. We have our first fan question of the day. One of our fans want to know, how long did it take you to adjust to each position when you changed?
Oh man, so from the tight end to the tackle position, I would say I got comfortable probably around 8 months. It took me about 8 or 9 months, because you got to think about although tight end is similar, it's right next to the position, you know, you're not going out for routes anymore. So now it's all about understanding blocking schemes, right? And so the technique is the thing that took the longest. Understanding what to do, that was pretty simple. I picked that up pretty quickly, because as a tight end, you work with the tackle a lot. But the technique on how to block certain defensive players, whether they be linebackers, corners, safeties, whatever, defensive ends, that took me probably about 8 or 9 months.
Yeah.
Excellent question, whoever asked that. I've never been asked that before. That's the first time.
Oh, that's the first time you've been asked that. Wow, that's amazing.
First time, yeah, that's right out the gate, man. You got some great fans.
Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. So the next thing is obviously in high school, senior year is really important for athletes, obviously trying to get D1 scholarships or D1 offers. So for you, what was the main thing what was the one main thing that you worked on senior year of high school to get that D1 offer?
To be honest, that was never a situation for me. I was actually offered a full scholarship my freshman year in high school from Penn State University. So from that point, it was really just about continuing to get better at my craft. By the time I was done in high school, my senior year, I had over 100 and something scholarship offers, you know? So I will tell you that for me, the senior year was about that state championship. And we were close, man. We were one game. We lost to the guys that ended up winning the state championship. So for me, that was what my senior year was about, finishing on top, trying to finish out healthy. I failed in that aspect. But you know, just making sure that I left the legacy and the blueprint with my high school, because it gave me so much. It gave me an opportunity to be able to leave my particular environment and move into a better environment. And that environment gave me knowledge. It gave me experience. It gave me a wonderful network, great friends. So I'm so you know indebted to, you know, high school ball for giving me that opportunity.
So speaking of getting the scholarship from Penn State, how tough is that turning that down? And obviously you went to Texas, and Texas is an amazing school for sports like football, basketball, and they have a lot of legacy down there with Vince Young and your former teammate Jermichael Finley. If you want to go basketball, Kevin Durant and Jared Allen. But talk about that process. How tough was turning down Penn State and going to Texas?
Yeah, I mean, as a 14-year-old kid, you know, it's all exciting, you know, but then you come to find out, oh, like, dang, I'm going to have to decide, right? So It was a little tough because, like I said, like that was the first scholarship that I didn't even know what a scholarship letter was. Like I took that home to my mom and she's jumping up and down. And you got to imagine me at 14. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, what does this mean? So it was tough. But the thing is, when I got to the University of Texas, man, that place, that atmosphere, that environment, it just felt right. You know, it felt like home. It felt like family. Mac and Sally Brown run a great program. Obviously, you see them doing the same thing, round two at North Carolina.
Yeah.
Got in there and changed the culture real quick, and they're winning. So for me, although, you know, it was tough, I knew I was making the right decision, and it's worked well for me today. Like I still have those connections. I'm still walking into doors, you know, that I don't know if I would be able to walk into without having that affiliation with the university, and especially knowing that when I retired, that this is where I was going to live. You know, to go to the University of Texas and live in Texas, there's a lot of opportunity that comes from that.
Well, yeah. So we have another fan question for you. Speaking of Texas, they want to know some of your best moments in Texas. Obviously, you were a part of that national championship team with Texas. So they want to know some of your best moments.
Obviously, I would say everybody looks to the highlight with us winning the Rose Bowl and the national championship, and then the Rose Bowl. I guess you would say the Rose Bowl twice. But to be honest, man, the best moments for me would probably be just the fun that we had in the locker room, sitting with your guys, you know, just having conversations on the practice field, challenging each other, getting better. You know, those were the best moments for me because that's where the most growth happened, right? And it's kind of similar to the Mamba mentality, right? Like, yeah, you want to perform in the spotlight, but the thing is that in the darkness is when you really rise to the top, right? That's when it's you versus you. You don't have anybody looking. You don't have anybody clapping you, you know, clapping their hands or patting you on the back. You know, it's that dark moment where you're just really out there grinding and getting after it. And when you have that thought process of, man, I can tone it down here, you know, I'm tired, you know, or I'm a starter, you know, I don't really have to go as hard. What do you do in those moments, right? And I think that transcends to life. So for me, the journey was my best moment.
Speaking of mama mentality, today is Kobe's birthday. So happy birthday to the late Brian. Rest in peace. And obviously he'll be missed forever and just devastating what happened. But happy birthday to him. So yeah. So I want to ask you about what was it like playing with Texas, obviously, and playing with teammates like Jermichael Finley, who we had the opportunity to talk to also on the show, and what was it like playing with him and some of the other players you had, like Vince Young. Correct me, you played with Vince Young, right, in Texas?
Absolutely, yeah. So I had Vince for his final 2 years, and then Colt for his first 2. So I split the 2. Yeah, so I was right there in the sweet spot.
So what was it like?
Yeah, it was great, man. I mean, obviously, when you have a player like Vince Young, he makes your job easy, right? Colt McCoy, they make your job easy. You know, I've played with a lot of guys that have had NFL careers, and you don't really recognize that until you start to reflect. You know, so you know, yeah, you have Vince Young and Colt McCoy; those are the names. But guys like Lyman Swede, Casey Studdard, Lyle Cinderline, Justin Blaylock, Will Allen. Obviously Jermichael Finley, but before there was Jermichael Finley, there was a David Thomas, there was a Bo Scaife, you know, there was a Will Matthews, RIP to my brother and you know, my good friend Cedric Benson. You know, you have the Jamal Charleses of the world. Man, we were loaded. Michael Griffin, Terrell Brown, the list goes on and on and on. Tim Crowder, like these are the list can continue to roll. I think the thing that I appreciated with all of those group of men is that everybody had one mindset and one mission. Man, we want to win. We're going to hold each other accountable. You know, we're not going to make excuses. We're going to take care of each other. We're the brotherhood. You know, it starts with us first. A lot of stuff that happened that might have been, you know, frowned upon was always handled in-house. You know, being able to show the young guys, listen, this is the culture. This is what we're doing. I learned that from my predecessors, and hopefully I was able to give that to the younger guys, you know, below me. But that experience was excellent. That was a great time to be a Longhorn fan. I tell you that much.
Yeah. So what do you say being around that offense and having to block for Vince Young and having those type of running backs that you just mentioned and the receiving core, tight end core? What do you say that elevated the whole offensive line to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, for us, you know, it was all about making sure that we were added value. right? Because you know you're going to hear the names of the stars. You know, the only time they call on us is if you mess up, right? But you know, the thing that we appreciated was the love that we got from those guys whose names were in the highlights, right? And so for us, man, that offensive line, man, is special. That whole position, because that's one of the only positions to where you know, like it has to be a unit, right? It can't be something where the left guard and right guard, center and left tackle do their job, but then the right tackle doesn't, and we make it out. That's not how it works. All 5 men, you have all 5 men that have to be one solid fist in order for everything to go. So there was a lot of time spent together. There was a lot of moments spent together. There was a lot of film watching, a lot of holding each other accountable. You know, these were the things that, you know, that I take and I'm able to instill into my son. So like, yeah, man, that culture, I think that's the thing that I want to get across, is that the culture of Texas was so different back then. Like it was really about making sure that you didn't let your brother down.
So one of our fans, one of our fans is a big Steelers fan, and they want to know what was your draft experience like, and what was it like getting drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Man, it was amazing. I mean, obviously, you know, shed a couple of tears because you've been through so much. So I broke my ankle my senior year in college. And so when that happens, you know, I don't know where I'm going at that point. And so when I went to San Diego, hollering at North Turner, you know, I was told that I'm gonna be a Charger. Just sit back, you'll be drafted in the 3rd round. Your experience is gonna be great. Well, when the 3rd round comes, they end up taking a fullback by the name of Jacob Hester, right? And so from that point on, the 3rd round comes and goes. I have no idea where I'm going. And here we are, just starting to hear names being called. And so as you sit there and you know, you're telling yourself all of these different things, and you see a number, a 412 area code, and I almost didn't pick it up. I don't know anybody from 412, but then I remember I was like, oh, damn, I'm part of the draft process. I better pick this phone call. And it's Mike Tomlin. Yeah. Right. And Mr. Rooney, man, and Kevin Colbert. And that was the best call that I could have ever received, man. And that was the best team that I could have ever been drafted to be able to prepare me for what the NFL was for. A veteran team, big name guys, Troy Polamalu, you know, Dick LeBeau, who was the coach there, player, coach for 60-something years, Hall of Famer, James Harrison, you know, obviously Ben Roethlisberger, like Willie Parker, like, man, just James Ferrier, so many guys that I was able to learn from and sit down and have conversations with and to go to war and go to battle with at times, man, that thing was beautiful for me, man. So it really gave me the right mentality to understand what it looks like to be a professional in the NFL. Ryan Clark is another one. Shout out to my man doing great things on the pivot. So, you know, I learned from all of those guys.
Yeah, he's doing big things on ESPN.
Absolutely.
So obviously it must have been a treat for you going from Vince Young to Big Ben. So what was that like, that transition like playing from Vince Young to Big Ben, who's a future Hall of Famer? Yeah,
I mean, you know, with Vince, ridiculous athleticism. You know, with Ben, definitely athletic, but man, you just talk about grit. You know, the guy just had grit. He was gonna make it happen. He's gonna take the hits. You know, it might be a little unconventional. He might hold the ball. He might hold the ball a little bit, but at the end of the day, when you need it in the 4th quarter, he's proven it time and time again. That's the reason I'm a Super Bowl champion. Yeah. You know, 4th quarter, we need it. Him to San Antonio Holmes, right? And then the defense being who they were, going out there and making the plays. So like, that's the thing that I think about with Big Ben. Clutch, 4th quarter, he has it.
Yeah. So for you, obviously, it's really important as a rookie coming in to have like a veteran player that plays the same position as you when you come in. So what was it like having a player like Willie Colon by your side, another offensive lineman, to help you come in, welcome you in as a rookie? And what was that like learning from Willie Colon?
Oh man, the New Yorker, man. Listen, toughness. I've seen that man go to war, go to battle. Broken bones, taped up hands. Hell, broke his tailbone at one point, or bruised his tailbone at one point. Still out there getting it. That's what I took from Willie, man. You know, just go out there and fight. It don't always have to look pretty. It don't always have to look perfect, but get the job done. And, you know, I was fortunate that I had a coach in Sean Kugler that believed that same message, right? And so, and plenty of guys. Chris Kiyomatu was another one. You know, there's plenty of guys that I could turn to and say, you know, I was actually my rookie year. Marvell was there as well, right? He was a staple for the Pittsburgh Steelers at left tackle for a long time. So I learned from all of those guys.
Well, yeah. So obviously, you spent 2 years with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You won a Super Bowl champion. So take us back to that game when you guys played the Arizona Cardinals. You won 27-23. What was that feeling like winning the Super Bowl against the Cardinals?
Well, I can tell you, I had the best seat in the house because as a rookie, I'm not on the field, right? But what I can tell you is that watching that experience, man, just the back and forth, the sheer will. You know, Arizona was hot, man. You know, Kurt Warner, Larry Fitz. You know, Darnell Dockett was killing at that time. They gave us some fits, but what I saw those brothers around me, man, they just came together at the right time. You know, Santonio was rocking up and down the sideline, talking about this is the moment where big plays are made. You know, so when we finally get the ball in the fourth quarter, I mean, obviously James has the pick that turns everything around, 100-something yard return.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Still the greatest play in Super Bowl history, right? One of them. And then when we get the opportunity to go down and score, I mean, Hines makes we start with a holding penalty, right? So that's life. You come up and you think, okay, I have the plan. We're going to go execute the plan. And the very first thing is the plan backfires. So what do? Right. And so, but we, you know, from that season, man, we were built for that. You know, we were always put in situations to where, you know, it might not go like we wanted, but we just got to find a way to win. That's the only thing Mike Tomlin preached, just win. Right. And so Hines makes a play, we get a couple of running plays, and then we finally get down to the corner. A lot of people don't know is that catch that Santonio made on the right side of the field, that was actually the same play that Ben missed on the left side.
Oh, wow.
So we flipped the motion and then ran it to the backside corner, and he makes a hell of a pass, and Santonio makes a hell of a catch, and the rest is history. That's what he was screaming and yelling. That's how you be legendary, right? So he was legendary that day. So to sum it up, man, it is, again, I associate ball to life. Everything, like we might go through things in life. We might have plans that don't, you know, materialize into what we want. But again, like my mom said, you only lose if you quit. If you keep going after it and you keep pounding, you'll end up being a champion as well in your own life.
Yeah, speaking about your mom, obviously you made her proud throughout your career, and you're still making her proud, and you worked hard to get to where you wanted to be, which was a football player. You won a Super Bowl. You won a championship there in college. And what was it like? Obviously, your mom being by your side from day one. As you mentioned her as a role model. And what was it like after winning the Super Bowl and then making your family proud like that?
Man, it was amazing. It was amazing. You know, just knowing how much she's been through, and you know, now we're getting ready to celebrate her even bigger. She's getting her first house.
Oh, wow.
So in Austin, Texas. So I'm excited to be a part of that. But just understanding what she went through, understanding what she sacrificed to give me an opportunity, and I felt the best way that I could, you know, repay her is with success, right? Success in anything that I do, whether that's, you know, getting my degree from college, like I said I would. I went back and got that. Whether it was, you know, playing ball, you know, playing almost 10 years. Whether it's in business, you know, wanting to be successful in their family, man, the whole nine. I think for me, it always gives me that added fire to know that I have her to take care of, you know, and she'll never admit it because she's a proud woman. But I do know that the things that I'm doing are aiding to help take care of the things that I need to take care of so that she can have a wonderful life. You know, she's worked hard. She needs to relax and enjoy her grandbabies and just have a good life.
Yeah, well, tell your mom I said congrats on the new house. She deserves it, and yeah, that's amazing. And so the next thing here, we have another fan question. Someone wants to know what did you guys do after you guys won the Super Bowl and did all the locker room stuff, the post game stuff? What was the first thing they want to know? What was the first thing you guys did after all that happened?
Man, everything you do after a big win, man, you go out and you party,
Yeah.
you know? So we had a after party at the hotel that they had, constructed or whatnot. And we just stayed up all night, man, just having a great time, enjoying family and friends and, just reliving the moment and, just wanted to do it again,
Mhm.
and we almost did. 2010, we went
Yeah.
back, right? So, but yeah, that was it, man. Just really taking it all in and experiencing the fact that, man, like we are world champions, and no matter what happens in life, nobody can ever take that from us. We're gonna always be Super Bowl champions.
You can't forget the Stogies.
That was it. You already know, man. In the bourbon, the
Yeah.
bourbon was out too.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, did you ever think to yourself maybe you could have spent your whole career with one team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and obviously the NFL, all sports is a business. A lot of players move around, or a lot of teams make hard choices on players. Did you ever think to yourself maybe you can spend with one team? But what was it like for you and your family, and you moving from team to team every year and not knowing where you're going to be?
Yeah, man. Again, like it just related to life. You just you gotta roll with the punches. I had an opportunity to stay with Pittsburgh for a long time. Um, it was just, the business aspect of it, right? And so for me, I always have to stay true to myself no matter what that situation is. But I will say that I enjoyed my time and I took so much from it, and I'm appreciative because,
Mhm.
like, without the Steelers, they're the ones that brought me in. I don't have a prolonged career without them drafting me. But the good thing that I will say about being able to experience different teams and different systems
Yeah.
is it's proving to yourself that you belong, right? Because every training camp I had to prove that I could do what I could do. That I am that guy, that you can count on me, right? And so I got that opportunity. And I think, you know, transitioning like that has also helped me in life, being able to, swing with the pendulum of adversity. And then obviously, playing in New Orleans, those were some of my greatest times because I was a heavy contributor to that team and what they were building and who they are today. So, you miss those moments, if you're staying with one team. But I know that the dream career is to be with one team, be a heavy contributor, win the Super Bowl, right? Well, if that dream doesn't happen, then just dream a new dream. Longevity, making sure that you contribute to a team, and go out and show out every single opportunity that you get. And I think that was my career, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
One of our fans want to know what was your nickname throughout your career?
uh man, my youth league coach used to call me Big Cat,
Yeah.
right? I'm for Leon Lick, right?
Yeah.
But just regular T Hills or Big T, one of those two. That's what they did.
Hmm. Yeah. So speaking of the Saints, obviously you spend time with like you said, you got a lot of playing time there. What was it like being in that dome? The fans they have the most loyal fans, in my opinion, in New Orleans, and playing with Drew Brees must have been a treat too.
Oh man, Drew Brees is one of the greatest, if not the greatest quarterback that I've ever had the opportunity to block for, man. Um, his preparation, his mindset, he's a true leader. He's an inclusive leader, right? He's going to make sure everybody understands what they're doing. He's going to ask questions. He loves the game.
Yeah.
Really loves the game. The fans, man, when you just say New Orleans, man, I get goosebumps. Right here hanging on my wall is a picture of me with a couple of my brothers, going to battle. Um, that town, New Orleans in itself, is different from all the other states in this country. Like, it's just a different feel when you go there. It's a lot of love. It's a lot of culture, good food, good music.
Yeah.
And yes, they love the Saints. They love the Saints. And when you're in that dome and that thing is rocking and they hit you with that who that,
Yeah.
oh my God, that thing is electrifying. Coming out of that tunnel, electrifying, man. So I had a wonderful experience there, and I go there. I get back from time to time whenever I can, but love New Orleans.
Did you ever meet their super fan, Jarius Robertson?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Yep. He came to a couple of our practices.
Oh,
And
nice.
so it was cool to meet him and you know, see the strength that he showed. You know,
Yeah.
we all gained strength from him, man.
Yeah, actually, I'll tell you a quick story. Me and my friends, we've been to New Orleans before, but we were working with the Habitat of Humanity, and we were helping out with Hurricane Katrina, and we helped rebuild all the houses, and then we planned all the with the garden and stuff, all the grass, and we did the storage stuff for all the clothes. So we were there for like a couple weeks helping them out restore everything. So that was I think that was a great moment for us, me and my friends, because just to see how what they've been through, because New Orleans is an amazing place to go. So
Yeah, man, and kudos to you guys for doing that, man. Like, you know, in a time of need, we need helpers, and so for you to take your time and to go out and do something like that, man, that shows your character and your heart. That town, that city has been through a lot. Those people have been through a lot.
yeah,
But I think that's the thing that you understand, you know, representing that team as a player is the strength that they have because they're not going to let that dictate how they live. Or, you know, when you ask them, are you coming back? They'll tell you the pigs fly, baby.
yeah.
Right, you know I'm coming back, you know? And so I think that even though they've been through so much, the spirit that they show about continuing to rebuild and to stay and to be true to the nature of who they are and to what that city is, that speaks volumes about the people that are there.
All right, tell our fans how from a scale to 1 to 10, how weird was it wearing a Ravens uniform playing against your former team, the Steelers?
It was very yeah, it was very weird, man. It was very weird. But you know they were cutting the check. So you gotta go with his employment. But you know, you see the history of Baltimore. You know, obviously Ray Lewis stands out, Peter Boulware, RIP Big Goosa, Tony Siragusa, Haloti was there, you know, Haloti Nada. My boy, Maake Kiyamatu played there, which was cool because I played with Chris, his little brother in Pittsburgh. So like you see the history of that place and you respect it, man. You know, when they say play like a Raven, there's a certain standard, which is why when you saw the Pittsburgh Steelers Ravens games, they were those type of games because you had two juggernauts going against one another, cementing their place in history. You know, whether it be, you know, on their field or at Heinz, right? So it was an experience, but yeah, it was weird for sure.
Yeah. So now I want to switch gears to the Dallas Cowboys, who I love, my favorite team till I die. So what was it like playing for the Cowboys, and what was it like when Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett gave you the opportunity to come into camp, prove yourself that you can still play? And obviously you got to play with some great talent like Tony Romo, Dez Bryant, Terrence Williams, DeMarco Murray. I can go down the line. And what was that opportunity like for you with Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett?
I think that was a stamp on everything that I had done up until that point. You know, in 2014, I mean, really was one of the best years that the Cowboys have had in a long time, right? We are literally the catch away from being in the NFC Championship.
And that was a catch, by the way.
Always, man. I mean, Brian, Stevie Wonder could see that. So, but no, it was special because, I mean, man, I was born in Texas.
Yeah.
I was actually born, a lot of people don't know this, but I was actually born in Mesquite. So right outside of Dallas, right? You know, grew up in Texas, went to the University of Texas. And now to be able to play for the Dallas Cowboys, you know, America's team, right?
Yeah.
Man, that was a outer body experience. Family being able to come to the game, you know, I'm home. You know, it was an outer body experience. We had a great run. Bill Callahan is an amazing offensive line coach. Man, we had a lot of young dogs, man. Tyron Smith.
Yeah.
You had Ron Leary.
Yep.
Right, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Doug Free, Jeremy Parnell, myself. Like we had guys that would get after it. And we ran the ball a lot. Shout out to Scott Linehan. I love that offense. We were very physical, very violent. And I loved it, man. And I think that was, you know, a contributing factor to why we went as far as we did. And then on the opposite side of the ball, man, we just had guys that got after it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you still see those guys playing now with DeMarcus Lawrence, right? So like, it was a wonderful experience. We had a great run. Definitely wish we could have continued running, and we would have got an opportunity to play in the big dance. To be able to just get in that game, if we win, obviously what it does for the city. But man, to have won the Super Bowl with the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's a different story right there, right?
Hey, that's like that. If you did that, that would have been history books forever for you.
Yeah, man. 2-story franchises, man. And I got rings with both. That would have been amazing. But you know, play it out how I play it out.
You know, as a Cowboy fan, I felt that was the year for us to go all the way. And obviously, unfortunately, we fell short against the Packers. But well, I mean, you guys had a great season, and you played with great teammates like Tyron Smith, who's still going at it, which is amazing. But one of our fans wanted to know, what was it like working with Jerry Jones in person?
Man, Jerry he loves the game.
Yeah.
He is an owner that loves the game and he loves his players, and he will spare no expense to make sure that they have what they need, right? And so to have an owner like that, it really makes you feel confident in what you're doing and what's going on within the organization. At least when I played, that's what I got from that. Like the guys that we had were the right guys. The leadership that we had was the right leadership at the time. And then having, Jerry, be as involved as he was, it was a cool thing. I had never really seen that before from owners. They usually just, sit up on their mountaintops and, come down every once in a while. But he'd be in the locker room, high-fiving the guys, dancing and partying with us when we win, and, to clapping us up and letting us know, we're going to come back and get better when we lose. So it was cool to see that, man. He's a good owner.
Yeah, so obviously now we have a new head coach here with Mike McCarthy, but playing with Jason Garrett, obviously it must have been great and a great coach for us throughout the years. And but I got to ask you this: how many times did he say every time before practice start, "How you doing, guys"? That's his thing.
I didn't count it, but it was a lot. Yeah, it was kind of like when you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you get yourself together. And you know the next move is you're going to turn on a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you could expect how you guys doing or how you doing, guys, from Jason Garrett. It's like turn on a cup of coffee. As soon as you walk in the building, it's going to get said. He never missed. I tell you this, he never missed a day. I can promise you. When I was there, he never missed a day.
Wow.
Ever. But when he asked the question, to his credit, he truly means it. So shout out to JG.
Yeah. Yeah, so now after your football career, you have a big brand going out there in Texas. Obviously, you're in Texas, and tell our fans about your brand that you guys are doing and what you're doing now.
Yeah, so my CMO Alicia Deering and our team, man, they do a wonderful job doing these brand collaborations, stuff like this, making podcasts and things happen. What it all encompasses is the brand is Stat Financial, right? And so my goal is to eliminate the fear of financial worry from the minds of the masses, and I do that through strategic techniques and strategies that that the wealthy have been doing for years, being able to shift the mindset about money, understanding that health is wealth, so we put that into that as well. But we just want people to know that there is a way out. There is a better system, and that better system can lead to a better life. But it's really just about anything else that we do in life. It's about commitment, right? Are you willing to commit to that change that needs to happen in order for you to make it to that next level? So that's really what it is. A lot of the brand stuff is to be able to capture the audience, bring in new people, allow them to hear some of the things that we have to say from the financial aspect, and really just get that message across that there is another way outside of what the government tells us.
Oh.
All right.
And where can our fans find your brand?
Absolutely. So on Instagram, if you go to Tony the Tycoon, I'm on Instagram. Tony Hills on Facebook. Tony Hills on LinkedIn. And then my website, if you go to statfinancial.info, so that's STATT financial.info. That's my website. It'll connect you to everything else that I just showed. You'll be able to see a little bit about us, what we do, location, what we've done in the past, all of those type of things.
All right, we'll take 3 more fan questions here. One of our fans want to know, who's your favorite offensive lineman you like to watch right now?
My favorite offensive lineman, well, when he's healthy, it's still Tyron Smith. You know, not just because I played with him, but you got to think, man, this guy came in the league at 20 years old and has been dominating ever since, right? And when he's healthy, he's still one of the best in the game.
Yep.
The other one I would say that I love to watch just because of his mentalities, it's an old school mentality, and his athleticism. It would be 2 guys that are similar in play. Jason Peters and Trent Williams. Those 2 guys, man, are monsters, right? So those are the 3 that I usually watch.
Yeah. One of our other fans want to know, what do you think of this year's Dallas Cowboys? How far do you think they can go?
I mean, I think like it's just like everything we talked about, right? If we're locked in, if we're committed, if we're all singularly focused on one goal, you know, we live by the mantra of no excuses, no explanation, only results, and don't worry about how it looks, but just win. Man, I feel like they can make a lot of noise, especially in the playoffs, right? I mean, guys, like we got to look at it like every year, they're there, they're there, right? But what is it going to take for them to get to the next level, to get across that hump? You know, that's the part that they have to figure out, to where even as us, as people that watch the game and as fans, you know, it's just about when are they going to make that leap, you know, and that's internal, that's in-house, right? That's getting to those dark moments and not having the same thoughts that send you out every year, right? Now it's having a different thought process that we're not going home, right? And I can tell you 2 teams, for me, the national championship year, we didn't play our best game to the 4th quarter. You know, that's just how we played, you know? And so for us, we already knew, like, we're not losing, you know, and we're not going to run out of time. So, you know, we're just going to turn it on and make it happen. And then in Pittsburgh, we're never out of a game. As long as we have as long as all of us are all in, it doesn't matter if it's 3 seconds left on the clock. And we've won games like that, right? We're going to make it happen. And so I think that if Dallas takes on that mentality and they stay healthy, that has a lot to do with it. And they get a couple balls bounced their way, you know, they'll be fine. They'll make a run. They have the players.
Oh, we do have the talent. It's just they just have to put it together on the field, and hopefully everyone stays healthy this year, especially Tyron Smith. If Tyron Smith can stay healthy the whole year, I think we have something special. And like I said, we have a good coaching staff, great players, but they just have to put it on the field. And one more fan question here. One of our fans want to know, what's it like seeing the game from a different aspect from a former athlete, seeing these young players go out every day. And they also want to know how weird is going to be not seeing Big Ben anymore, but now the young quarterback stepping in for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm already trying to adjust to that, man. It's difficult because he's been a staple there for so long. Like, you know, I've been retired since 2017, and he just retired. So that should show you how long he's been in the game. You know, but they have some guys. You know, I think Mitchell Trubisky brings a new flavor. The young boy that they just drafted, he brings a new swag to it. Yeah. There's a lot of athleticism to him. The ball hops off his hands, and he's youthful, right? So he's ignorant to the things that he should be nervous about because he just hasn't had that experience. So, you know, whatever Mike Tomlin decides to go with, I think that he's going to have a good option at that position. And then as it pertains to how I watch the game now, I'm trying to learn how to watch it as a fan. But it's kind of hard because when you're watching the game and you see the safeties moving, or you see the line shift, or you see the linebackers off level, you know, I'm out here calling out stunts and telling, talking to the TV about what the line should be doing. You know, hey, Mike, that guy slide to 74. You know, so it's kind of tough to just watch it as a fan. But I still enjoy it. I really do. I still enjoy it. I don't get to watch it as much because what I do takes a lot of study time. It takes me away from TV a lot. But when I do get to watch it, man, I still enjoy it. I still get those goosebumps. I still get that feeling, that zeal, that gladiator warrior spirit still there. And it's cool to see the next generation, step up and take the game to new heights. There's a lot of great players out there. A lot of great players.
Would you consider being a coach down the line?
Never.
No.
Never. Nope. No, because of the thing is that I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience. I tried it in high school and I did it for 1 year. It was fun, but I just knew I didn't have the patience because I'm one of those people to where, like, listen, I'm going to show you, I'm going to teach you, and then I expect you to get it, because that's how it was given to me. And so and there's a lot of long hours that go into that, and I've already spent that time taken away from the family. So now, if I'm gonna take long hours away, it's because I'm going to be building something that I own.
Yeah. So the last two things here, our team is part of this foundation. It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. He's a former NFL coach. He's now coaching at Grambling State. We're trying to help him prevent human trafficking and making sure the community stays safe. So we'll send you the foundation so you guys can check it out.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And shout out to Hugh Jackson for doing that. It's a very, very monumental thing that he's doing, very important. And I thank you for sharing that with me, because I'll definitely pass that information along. Prior to this conversation, I didn't even know he was a part of that. I knew about Grambling. Everybody talks about that, or Grambling State rather, but I didn't know that he was putting his time into that. So that's amazing, man. Shout out to him. God bless him for that.
Yeah, thank you. And we're trying our best to help him do that, prevent that. And before we get to the last thing, and also I also work for Jersey Sporting News. I'm a reporter there. So everyone go check out the website, Jersey Sporting News. You can find our latest articles and other stuff there. So go check out that website. And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, or the essential workers right now?
Yeah, man, we appreciate you guys. We thank you for your efforts. And like I know, that the only way, if I could leave your audience with anything, it would be that you can because you believe you can, and you only lose if you quit. And I'm so thankful that the essential workers, the nurses, the doctors, and anybody in the medical field that have been fighting these crazy, pestilences that we've been experiencing in this world today, that they continue to go out and fight, because it's important. If it's not for them doing that, then where does that leave us as people, right? So we thank them for their sacrifice. And, we as athletes or former athletes get a lot of attention, but I would love for us to start shining our light on them, because they're the ones that really, truly count.
Well, I'll let you close it out here. Tell our fans where they can find you guys, and would Alicia would like to say anything.
Yeah, she always has something to say. She's shaking her head no right now, so I just trying to be modest, but no. So we're located at the City Central building here in the Plano area. So if you're in Dallas, that's where you can find our headquarters. And then online, like I said, if you just go to statfinancial.info, STATT financial.info, you'll be able to connect with me there. You'll be able to see some of the the old highlights and things, and where we've transcended as a company. And if we can help you in any way financially, whether that be credit, whether that be investing, taxes, whatever it is that you need, we definitely would love for you to give us a shot, because we know we have a team to get your needs met.
Well, there you have it. Former NFL offensive guard, tackle from Texas University, also won the Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He won a national championship with Texas. What a great career, and what he's doing big things off the field now. Thank you for joining us, Tony Hills, on the show today. It's truly an honor. I learned a lot today from this show. And shout out to Alicia for setting this up, your PRP, and the rest of the team setting this up. And thank you to our fans for tuning in and asking great questions to Tony today. We always love the fan interactions. We would love to have you back on the show down the line at some point. And also, yeah, I have to come back. I have to come down to Texas. I haven't been there yet. And I haven't been, as a Cowboy fan from Jersey, I haven't been to the new Cowboy Stadium yet. So I need to go there. So I'm going to put that on my bucket list. And when I get down there, I'll make sure to visit you guys and check out your stuff. But thank you again for joining. It's amazing.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for having me. Just let us know, man. We got some hookups with AT&T Stadium.
Oh, nice. Thank you.